you've ever run LinkedIn ads for your SaaS and thought, this is insanely expensive, you're not alone. High CPMs, low conversion rates, your sales team complaining and that the leads suck, it's basically the standard experience for most B2B SaaS companies. And look, most founders don't say LinkedIn ads don't work, they just say, yeah, they work, if you want to spend a stupid amount of money. Well, I don't think that the problem is the ads themselves. It's not the targeting, it's not the creative, and honestly, it's not even LinkedIn's pricing. There's a piece missing that almost everyone ignores. And when it's missing, you're basically paying what I call a trust tax to LinkedIn. But when you fix it, your ads stop feeling like a gamble and start feeling like they're just amplifying something that was already working. So let me show you what's actually going on here. This comes up all the time when SaaS companies get past that early traction phase and try to actually scale demand. They turn to LinkedIn because, it makes sense on paper, right? Right audience, right titles, right companies, and then the results are underwhelming. I'm Frank Husman and I've worked with over 40 SaaS teams and many of them hit this exact same wall. And almost every single time, it's not a technical issue, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what ads are actually supposed to do. And once you see it, the pattern is pretty obvious. Most teams aren't trying to create demand with ads, they're trying to capture it too early. So they run book a demo or see how it works ads to people who haven't even decided yet that change is necessary. That does work, just not for most people. It works for the small group that's already in market. For everyone else, it feels premature. And that's why it feels expensive. Think about it from the buyer's perspective. You're interrupting them mid-scroll and asking them to commit before they even agree there's a problem. That's asking someone to marry you on the first date. And you're not just competing with their inertia, you're competing with every other SaaS tool that's also running ads in their feed. Every single one of them is saying roughly the same thing. We are better, we are faster, we have more features. The buyers scroll past all of this because none of it answers the actual question they care about. Why should it change anything at all? Here's what I learned. Ads don't create belief, they amplify it. If someone doesn't actually agree with how you're framing the problem before they see your ad, that ad is just an expensive interruption, nothing more. Think about your own behavior for a second. When you're scrolling LinkedIn and you see a demo ad from some company you've never heard of, what do? You scroll past it, right? Not because the product is bad, just because the company hasn't earned the right to ask you 30 minutes of your time yet. B2B buyers have basically developed this built-in resistance to being sold to before they're educated. They need to understand 3 things before your ad even has a chance. The first thing is why the way they're doing the things right now isn't going to work anymore. The second thing is why the current solution out there, including your competitors, are actually failing them. And the third thing is why your specific take on the problem is the one that makes sense. Without that foundation, your ads don't feel helpful, they feel pushy. And that's where the expensive feeling comes from. You're paying for clicks from people who are skeptical, not people who already have convinced. And look, this isn't just about LinkedIn, this is how buying works now. Buyers do their own research, they read content, they ask peers. They form opinions about problems and solutions long before they ever talk to a sales rep. So when your ad shows up asking for a demo, and they haven't gone through the research journey with you, you're basically a stranger asking for their credit card. Of course it doesn't convert. So how do you fix this? You have to stop treating LinkedIn ads like they're this stand-alone lead gen machine. Because they're not. They're the final piece of a system. Let me give you an example. We work with a SaaS communications platform that had just redesigned their entire product and needed to enter a much more competitive market. The traditional playbook would have been obvious. Blast book a demo ads at everyone in PR and communication and hope that something sticks. We didn't do that. Instead, we broke it into phases. And here's how it played out. Phase 1 was just education. We used cold LinkedIn ads and content to explain why traditional PR distribution was fundamentally broken. No features, no product talk, no demos, just very clear explanations of why the old way didn't work anymore. And we got specific. We talked about how most PR teams were still using spray and pray tactics that journalists hated, how the metrics everyone reported on didn't actually measure impact, and how the tools in the market were optimizing for the wrong outcomes. This wasn't marketing content, this was experts sharing what they'd learned after years in the industry, building the belief. Phase 2 was alignment, making sure that when buyers searched, scrolled, or compared options, they kept running into the same point of view, not a random mix of messages. We combined this narrative with Google Ads and LinkedIn, so when people were actively searching for solutions, they didn't land on another generic vendor page, they found our specific perspective. And here's the important part. We paid close attention to who engaged, because when someone watches founder content, interacts with a thought leadership ad, or revisits the same idea multiple times, they're not cold anymore. They're already agreeing with how the problem is framed. That engagement powered LinkedIn retargeting, not to push demos, but to continue the conversation. Phase 3, and only phase 3, was the actual ad push. By this point, the market had been warmed up. People knew the founder's perspective, they'd already started agreeing with the problem we were laying out. The ads themselves were straightforward. If you agree that traditional PR distribution is broken, Here's what we built to fix it. That was basically the message. And that's when the ads actually worked. The results? We brought in 20 brand new customers in 3 months to the new platform. Not because the ads were magic, but because the ads were reinforcing something that people already believed. They weren't doing all the heavy lifting, they were just closing the mechanism for a conversation that had already started. Okay, so that worked for them. So what does this actually mean for your business? When you build belief first, everything downstream gets better. First, your CPMs actually start feeling reasonable. When people engage with your ads because they recognize your perspective, LinkedIn's algorithm rewards you for it. Higher engagement, lower costs. Pretty simple, right? But this is what most people miss. It's not just about the algorithm. When people already know you, they don't just click, they read the whole ad. They visit your website. All that engagement signals to LinkedIn that your ads are relevant, which drives your costs down even further. Second, your sales cycles get shorter. I've literally seen sales teams run the exact same LinkedIn ads, same creative, same targeting, and completely different results just because one company had already educated their buyers beforehand. Because when the belief is already there, buyers aren't asking, why should I trust you? They're asking, how soon can we start? Your sales team isn't spending the first 3 calls explaining the whole problem, they're jumping straight into the solution fit and implementation timelines. That's the difference between a 6-month sales cycle and a 6-week one. And third, you stop being a commodity. Most SaaS ads look identical. Same stock photos, same value props, same book or demo call to action. But when you lead with your actual perspective as a founder, something that's uniquely yours, you're not just another tool in the stack, you're a strategic partner. You're the person who helped them see the problem clearly in the first place. You move from being an expense on their P&L to an investment in their future. And that's the difference between an ad account that bleeds money and one that actually scales. So if LinkedIn ads feel expensive for you right now, the real question isn't how to optimize the campaigns. The question is, do buyers already agree with us before they even see the ad? Because if you haven't built that belief upstream, through your content, through your perspective, through actually leading the conversation in your space, then you're asking your ads to do 100% of the work. That's an insanely expensive way to run a business. And here's the takeaway. Ads don't fail because clicks are expensive. They fail because the belief isn't there yet. Your job as a founder isn't to become a media buyer. Your job is to set the narrative, build the agreement, and then use ads to amplify the message to the right people at the right time. That's it. That's the whole game. In the next few videos, I'm going to break down exactly how to build that belief system. Specifically, how you take what you already know as a founder and turn it into a content engine that pre-sales buyers before you spend $1 on ads. We'll talk about how to systemize this without spending 20 hours a week on LinkedIn. We'll talk about how to identify which parts of your expertise actually matter to buyers, and how to tie it all back to actual revenue so you're not just creating content for content's sake. If this shifted how you're thinking about your ad strategy, the next video builds directly on this. I'll show you the bridge between founder perspective and revenue impact. I'm Frank Hussman, and I'll see you in the next one.